Welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. This is a show where we aim to educate, inspire and entertain through real life stories and interviews from people in the Scottish property community.
As always, thanks for listening and give us a follow on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember to join us at our monthly networking events on the first Wednesday of every month. Tickets are available on our website. So without further ado, we'll just cut straight into this week's podcast.
Welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. Declan from Vitality Property. See,
Just say Declan.
Declan.
How you doing, Declan?
Mate,
welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank God you're going to be talking today, not me. Guys, listen to this. Like, this is going to be a story. You're going to go, for Declan's only 24, already making waves in property, and I am excited to hear about your backstory and where it all came from, because it is quite interesting, and you're taking big steps. So
Did you say 22 there?
24.
24. Aye. So I
shit.
thought you said 22.
Yeah, man,
24,
geez.
man. Jeez, you've done quite a bit.
I'm starting to do quite a bit. It was quite a slow slog at the start, I'd say, because I said to Stephen, I had training and stuff like that in property. I was how I get started was 20-year-old, was still an apprentice at the time.
See, before you go into that, actually, there's a bit of a backstory as well to growing up that I think we should dive into, because younger listeners will, we have all sorts of age groups, even, teenagers and that listening to the podcast. So where did you grow up? What was your
I grew up in Coatbridge, council estate, single mum, just me and my brother, and I just didn't do very well at school and stuff like that. Was in 3 different high schools, not chucked out officially on the first 2, but advised I think it's best for a move.
What sort of trouble were you getting into?
I was never, there was a lot worse people than me. I just had a terrible attitude, bad attitude problem, and it took me probably right up to my late teens to admit that I had an attitude problem.
How did you feel in school when you're sitting there trying to kind of like concentrate in class, or were you just no concentrate? Were you just carrying on and stuff like that?
Just carrying on. I was the type of young lad that your mum told you not to hang about with.
Aye.
But I was just part of that group, and it wasn't that I kind of thought I was stupid at school, because that's what you were getting told. You were getting told, how you're not able to do this. It wasn't that I couldn't do it, it was that I wasn't doing it, and I wasn't interested in it. And now, like, through property and through like the refurbishment business stuff like that, I'm learning that I can actually learn things, that I'm capable of picking things up if I want to learn about them. But going and learning about fucking history.
We talk about this. We talk about this a lot. You talk about it as well. The education system and the way the schooling system's set up. I've got kids coming now through. My eldest is 13 and all the rest of it. It's just not the place for a lot of kids now. Just with the way the world's changed, to basically say to somebody, right, you need to go in 6 hours of the day and sit in a stuffy classroom and listen, focus your attention on somebody teaching you fucking algebra or whatever it is they learn.
One of the big things, I think, I left school at 4th year, so I left quite early. I left at 16. I didn't even know what a mortgage was.
Not taught anything about real life skills.
How do you buy a house? I don't know. You know what I mean? I didn't know anything about that. I didn't really know about debt or good debt. Nothing. Didn't know anything about that, any of that stuff. Never got taught any of it.
What age did you have to leave the house?
So I stayed with my mum up to 14, and at that point I was 3rd year at high school. Got chucked out of the house because I was getting threatened to get chucked out of school, and me and my mum didn't have the best relationship anyway. So I moved in with my grandparents at 14 up in Stirling, and then went to school there, and never had a bother at school. Passed exams and complete U-turn. But it was an environment thing, and my grandparents, obviously moving in with them, they took a lot on with taking me on at that time. And I just felt as if I had a lot to owe them. So I didn't really get the grades for me. I was kind of working for them, to be honest, as a bit of payback for what they've done for me. So I didn't want to let them down. And my granddad's my hero. He's done everything for me. Everything I do, I run it past him, and I speak to him more than I speak to anybody else. So I didn't want to let him down, didn't want to let my grand down. So I just knuckled down and learned that I wasn't stupid, essentially, you know what I mean? When I applied myself, I was capable. It's just that at times I didn't want to apply myself. So I went for being suspended and everything like that. Never had a cross word at school when I moved in with them, and I had a wee bit of fear, like my granddad and stuff as well, like that side of it.
The old school respected elders.
Exactly.
Removing yourself from that like difficult relationship with your mum.
That definitely helped. And we don't have a relationship to this day and stuff like that. So it's just, but it suits me like that. That's what's best. It's just tough, you know what I mean? It's tough for the.
What did you do after you left school then?
So 16, I'd passed my Nat 5. When I say passed, I mean I get C's, C class student. But passed my exams, and I sent my granddad, I need to leave school. This isn't for me. I'm not going to. I probably won't pass hires. And he said to me, right, I'll speak to people, and he knew the Ogilvy's and stuff like that. So he got me my start at Ogilvy Construction. So I'm a plumbing and heating engineer, and started with them. Did my
apprenticeship.
It was
At
so
what, 16?
16. So started there, and I enjoyed it for the most part, and I had really good people teaching me and stuff like that as well. And it was quite good because the tradesman I had was an older guy, so I looked at him almost like my granda. So when he shouted at me, I wasn't part of that kind of snowflake generation where you get shouted at and you were arguing back and stuff. I just took it. So I had a good time for my apprenticeship. The only thing that kind of spurred me on into property and side hustles and everything was I was looking at these guys at 60 and I was thinking, man, they're on £600 a week at 60-year-old. Like, is that what I want to be doing the rest of my life? And
you had ambitions to
do more because I'd seen it. I'd seen my uncles, both my uncles have got businesses, and my granddad retired at 48. Sold his business.
What did your granddad do?
He had an engineering company, so he sold up right before the crash, I'm sure, at 2008.
Nice.
So got a wee bit fortunate with that, and then he did a wee bit in property, but not like what it is now. He bought off plans, development stuff like that in Falkirk, and then sold them. So I've seen people not work for somebody, so I've seen that, and I'm like, right, well, how did he do it? How did he retire at 48? He didn't do it working for somebody else. So I was putting all these wee bits together at 19, 20, and it was depressing going to work.
The scary thing is, that's only, well, when you were 16, that's only 8 years ago, which is like, what, 2016, 2017?
2016,
so obviously we've got, the internet's fully operational now, you know, it wasn't in operation when we were kids.
Got an abundance of information out there.
Information and YouTube and all that. Did you start looking at YouTube podcasts?
I wasn't so much property at first because I wanted to get rich quick, as everybody does at 18, 19, 20. So I did everything else.
What did you message me on Instagram for?
Well, I waited until I was 20 at that point. I'd exhausted all other avenues.
So what was the Google searches that you were putting in at that time then?
I wasn't Google searches. I think it was more TikTok, Instagram. You were seeing reels and seeing what other people were doing.
You Google search. This is the new generation. You'll TikTok search.
TikTok's the new Google.
So I was just seeing what other people were doing, and obviously social media is like the highlights of all the good stuff, and it's all.
Who was popping up? I
can't even remember.
There must be some people that you.
I honestly can't remember.
No.
It was mostly down south people, to be honest. It wasn't much
English,
Scottish creators.
Samuel Leeds and all that.
With Samuel Leeds stuff when I started looking at property, and then I seen Stephen's stuff, and we were just talking about that before we started. How I messaged Stephen when I was 20, and I was like, I'd love to get involved in property.
What did you do first before Amazon?
I've done Amazon FBA, so just shipping
that?
stuff in for China and packaging it up, sending it to Amazon, they send it all out and stuff like that.
Cool. What kind of stock did you go for? Did you pick the stock or
so I did tons of market research, done like a course on it, it was like £400.
Right.
Done research, and I got quite a lot out of it. So what I ended up doing was I ended up sourcing these properties, these products. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have massive capital, I had like £2,000, but I kept finding good products that would work. But I did this course with 14 other people. So then I was just going to them and going, I found this product, do you want to buy it? Here's the numbers. It was almost like sourcing property.
Right. What's that products are you talking about? What were your successful ones?
The ones I done was like tablet stands, phone stands,
right.
Laptop stands, but there was like massive variety. And I can remember when I was still working on site at the time, and I was charging people like £300, and I'm walking about on the building site, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and 2 weeks' wages I've just landed for somebody transferring my money, like sitting in the canteen with my tradesman, and I'm like, look at this is unbelievable. And that was the first time I'd made any money out with actually going and trading my time, and that's what kind of opened the doors.
What was the problem with that business then? Why have you not scaled that up?
As soon as it hit, I had probably lack of knowledge as well. It only took me so far, didn't apply myself fully, didn't have the financial backing that I really needed to put enough money in it to buy enough stock and everything else. And then COVID kind of hit, the container prices shot up, the times, all delays, everything. Just probably was bad timing as well, but I don't think I would have stuck at it, if I'm being honest.
Because I think that's one of the other ones, like when people start searching for get rich quick and all the rest of it. So there's a few things that always come up. There's obviously property, right? But there is the Amazon drop shipping and all that as well. There's the crypto, all these things.
Done crypto as well.
Did you do the crypto?
I've still got money in it, but it's like, I put like 10 grand in it. I've not looked at it in a few years. I couldn't tell you where it's sitting at.
Right.
I couldn't even tell you what coins I bought in it. I know XRP's one of them. That's a bit as far as
right.
I go.
Anything else that you've dabbled at?
trying to think, done quite a lot, done loads of wee things, like bought bots and stuff like that for a lot when Supreme clothing was quite a big thing. So you had a bot that would buy the clothing then resell it. Done daft things like that, but I just done loads of small things. Was always out working with my uncles and stuff like that, just always trying to make money as many ways I could to try and put money away and bank it up. And that's where I'm grateful for the trade that I got, because when I was in my 3rd and 4th year when COVID kind of hit, I was able to go out and do homers all the time, so I started putting a nest egg away.
Brilliant.
So when we
So you managed to complete your apprenticeship, because these are kind of side hustles on the side, right, with Amazon and all that, but you're still doing your apprenticeship and you're getting your trade. So you managed to successfully get through that?
I'd done that for 4 years. It was tough going, as I said, like when I had conversations with the family. I was like, if this is what I'm doing the rest of my life, you as well put me in a box and I can't do this. So young people now that are looking for a get out of school when they're not, realistically, university's no for them. I think apprenticeships are great. I think they're brilliant. It just didn't suit me. I had ambitions to do other things, and being there for 40 hours a week wasn't going to serve what I was capable of doing or what I wanted to go and do.
Did you make that known to your gran and granddad at the time? And
I did. If it wasn't for, obviously my granddad got me the job, and as I says, if it wasn't for him getting me the job, I would have sacked it off at least 4 or 5 times. But I'm grateful I didn't, because it did build a lot of character. It's gave me a safety net, and then obviously I've got the refurbishment business now, which without that experience I wouldn't have been able to go and start. So it was good. Was it
Ogilvy's you set your time?
It's Ogilvy's, aye. So it's all new builds.
Aye, exactly. So you never exactly just seen flipping one trade. You work with a trade day in, day out. Aye.
And the big thing was the fact that, see, working in the winter with no windows in the house, like I couldn't do it again. I couldn't go back and do it now. I just couldn't. I actually quite enjoy being on the tools. But now it just doesn't serve a purpose for me. It's just better to outsource it because of how busy I am with other things.
So you said that you started doing homers and that. So had you left Ogilvy? So you're still at
I was still at Ogilvy, but I was on furlough. So I was getting full pay, and then just going out and doing bathrooms. Was on like all the lead gen pages, like Tradeify, not Tradeify. Was it Checker Trader? Rated people and stuff like that. So I started building reviews, started building a clientele, and then we came out of COVID. We obviously then went right back in, but when we came out of COVID, I was that busy with my own stuff that I was leaving an hour early and stuff like that to catch things on the way home. And it was just, I ended up rammed, but it was a good time because everybody was doing stuff in their house, so I was quite lucky. So I started this kind of business with Vitality Plumbing and Heating, it was at the time. Started this business and it was booming. I'm like, business is easy. What do people struggle to get to work for? But it wasn't. It was just the fact that it was during COVID, people were spending all their money in the house.
Everybody had all that money just to garage conversions going up. Everyone's getting their driveways monoblocked. And
how quickly did you? Well, when did you go back after COVID? How quickly before you had the notice in Ogilvy then to go full time yourself?
So we work in new builds. You're restricted to what you can learn. So I decided my apprenticeship had finished in I think about the March, and they'd kept me on. And it was coming up to the middle of summer, and I kind of said, right, I want to go and get more experience on doing heating. So I went and fitted air source heat pumps. I only did that for fucking 3 months because it was like 7-8 hours a week. It was torture. So I packed that job in on the Tuesday, picked a van up on the Wednesday, started the company on the Wednesday, and then that was it. Went myself for a couple of years, and then when I started really getting into property, I figured I was having issues getting mortgages because I've got no income. And so I decided to go back on the books again with another company fitting bathrooms and stuff like that for just 6 months to serve the purpose of getting the mortgage. Exactly.
How did you initially get interested in property then?
So at the time when I was doing the homers during lockdown and stuff like that, there was a landlord local to me who was doing quite a lot, and I said to him, I was like, I'll work for free, but I want to learn everything, Like how have you got 15 properties, or how have you got 16 properties? And he didn't really take me up on that, but he said he would mentor me for X amount. I can't even remember the price. I think it was maybe like $6,000 or something in that region, I think. Me and my partner both did it together and paid it out of kind of savings that I'd built up for doing the homers. And that's how I got started.
So you paid him a mentorship?
Yep, for 12 months.
But you said, I'll work for you for free as well?
No, I said that, but he'd kind of knocked that back and said he would rather I just keep both of them separate. So I kept doing his bathrooms and kitchens and stuff like that, and I was getting paid for that on the side as well.
Who is that? Is it somebody you think would know? Or?
No,
don't
think so.
No. Okay, so fancy making £1,000 for sending a WhatsApp let's take a wee break to talk about referring sellers to John and Lewis at Prime Property Auctions. Me and Stephen have both done it, and it couldn't be easier. If you know someone selling a property, the guys will pay you £1,000 or 1% of the sale price, whatever's higher, just for passing their details. Doesn't matter if the seller is already with an estate agent or not, just drop the guys a message and they'll do everything from the first call to getting the property sold. Know someone who might be looking to sell or struggling to get a result with their agent? Go to the link in the show notes and send them a message now.
Good, mate. Do you know what gave you I suppose, that mindset? You said you paid £400 for the marketing course as well, and then £6,000 for that mentorship. What gave you that? Because most young folk wouldn't pay for it, like fucking to actually say, well,
because I seen it as a tool. So I always had the best of tools, and when I bought the best tools, if I bought good tools, it made my job easier. Yeah. So I always thought, you spend to make, and I still get that mindset now. Like, you need to put it out to get it back. So back then, £400. I mean, at the time, I had no overheads, I had no expenses, I had no house. So, I mean, if I'd spent £400 and I lost it and I didn't do anything with it, then
no real risk.
I mean, 2 weeks.
What was it you saw in him that you were like, I want to do what you're doing?
It was probably just the first person I'd seen that's got multiple different properties on the go at once. And it was like that Samuel Leeds thing, like when you see him doing it down in England. But this is somebody on my doorstep. So it's like, oh, this is actually real.
Makes it real.
Aye, this is real.
Aye.
It's not on a screen. It's not through Instagram.
And basically, he's getting you in to do all the hard graphs. You're like, I want to be on the other foot.
Exactly, aye, exactly. So I did that for 12 months, bought a flat in Ala at the time.
How did you get the money to buy the flat?
Just for putting the money away for the homers.
Excellent.
So I think we were about $30,000 all in between legals, deposit.
Another great lesson as well, because most folk, if they're doing well, young people, they would have just spunked it.
I can honestly say in the period that I was working for, like probably 2019 to 2021, I don't think anybody could have been working harder than me. Like, I couldn't have traded any more of my time. If I could, I was working to fucking 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Aye.
Because
they were empty houses. They were empty houses, so you could work to any time.
Yeah.
So it was up to me how quick and how much money I wanted to make.
I think you've either got it or you don't know that kind of work ethic and that drive.
I burnt out massively though. I probably couldn't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
I look back at what I was doing then, I think I probably couldn't do that now.
You're only 24, mate.
You could.
You could.
You've got another few good years and you need to catch up with you and Dunning and that.
It would take something. Like if I really needed to, I probably could, but because now I don't need to, because I know there's other avenues. Because at the time I thought I need to make the money myself, whereas now I have to look in a private investment and stuff like that as well. So I don't need to go and graft to raise the money myself.
So that first property then, tell us a wee bit about that.
So I was 20 at the time, couldn't sign the documents to buy it in a limited company because I had to be 21 and it was a week before my birthday. So I got advised at the time through the mentor and the solicitor that if you buy it then you won't pay ADS on your own personal home, because I didn't own my own place at the time. That was wrong, so I bought it and then ended up having to sell it again in like 12 months time when me and my partner were speaking of obviously getting a house for herself and looking at kind of moving out and things like that, because I wasn't planning. I could have paid the ADS and kept it, but I was just kicking the can down the road because eventually I'm going to move again and move again and move again.
Right.
So I'm going to constantly pay that ADS if I move 3, 4, 5 times.
Well, that would have been alright if it was a flip, right?
Aye.
And you were just flipping
Personal
it on.
name flip, aye. But it wasn't. It was, and it didn't work as a flip
This
either.
was for a buy to let.
It was, aye. And at the time, it wasn't a great deal. I mean, at the time I was saying that to Stephen, it was the interest rates were at what?
1.1% probably.
Nothing.
Right.
And it was cash flow. I think we were renting at $620 a month, and the mortgage was £60 a month. So the cash flow was great. It looked a good deal on yield, but we weren't pulling any money out. Didn't really know about refinancing or renting at the time. Hadn't really learned about that. I'd watched videos on it, but didn't know about it. Didn't have any kind of live experience of doing it. So aye.
So you never moved into that property. You just let it out.
Just let it out straight away.
But then obviously that caused you issues down the line when you're deciding to move in with your partner.
When we were both of us were looking to leave our family homes and buy a place ourselves, and then we're speaking to people about it, and they're like, but you're going to need to pay 6% at the time on whatever you purchase. I was like, no, I get told I don't need to pay that because I don't own my own place yet. So, aye.
So what did you do with that property then?
I ended up selling it. So we got a get out of jail free card. I just went to the council. They were crying out for properties. I was like, do you want to buy it? And got it re-home reported. I'd done a tiny wee bit of work in it, like got it painted, new carpets, and it did get a wee up value. I think I bought it for 72, or was it home reported 72?
Aye.
Roughly that region anyway, but I think we sold it for 80. So for the year's rent it would got and stuff like that,
You'd had it for what, 2 years?
I think we had it for about a year and a half.
That's alright,
at the
man.
time.
It's fine, isn't it?
So it wiped
but-
its face, but the big thing it gave us was experience, and it gave us the confidence, because we were like,
We've done it.
"Fucking hell, we've bought something. We've had tenants.
Aye.
It didn't get destroyed. You know, they were decent. They were really good tenants, and they're paid every month." It was like, "Oh my god, this is real."
And you found a nice exit to the council.
Aye. So then I just
Is
gave
that still in council?
no, that'll be Clackmannanshire Council.
Alright. Nice one. So you came out of that. Obviously, it wasn't like, now that you know, obviously what you know now, you're like, obviously I wouldn't do that again.
No. So it started, obviously I had the company set up then, and I was just kind of had the antenna on all the time for opportunity. And I was, because I've got the refurb business, a lot of the time I get asked to go and do, or go and price works. It's in houses that are derelict or they're executives or whatever, and I wasn't capitalising on them at the time. And then I went and seen one, the first kind of project I done was in Airdrie. It was a 2-bed mid-terrace house, and I went to view it, and the woman wanted a heating system, and she opened the door and the ceiling fell down. The bathroom had been leaking, but with the wind going in, it caught the back of the plasterboard and pulled it down.
Jesus.
And she just started crying. She was like, I don't know how I'm going to find the money, Declan, to renovate this house. And it needed everything. Like, it was old
And she
wooden
just
windows.
contracted you off like check a trade
Rated
or something?
people.
Rated people. You'd went out there to price the job.
Price a heating system, aye. And she says, "Oh, I don't know how I'm going to find the money to do this." And I said, "Well, I'll buy it." And she was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And I says, "Well, how much do you want?" And I had no idea about how much they were. She said, "Oh, that one there sold for 110. And I said, "Well, that one's got new windows, it's got a combi boiler, this has got electric heating." I says, "You forget that figure."
Right.
I says, "How much is outstanding on the mortgage?" And she said 55. And I said, "Right, I'll give you 60. And I hadn't done any research. I just put the legal offer in that day and then went home and started doing a bit of research. But I figured at the time, if she's owned it for 20 years, nobody's lived in it in 20 years,
Aye.
and she's only got 55 left on it, buying it at 60 must be an alright deal. So I went home, done the research, all checked out. At the time I was on the tools still, like graphing away, so I was like, brilliant, I'll keep all my costs down, do the bathroom, everything myself. End up doing the full property, so I bought it for 60, but I had agreed access during legals.
Right.
So I actually had the property finished by the time I purchased it. So if you go on Rightmove and check this, I think it's 23 Heatherbank Walk. It was bought on the 28th of February and sold again on the 3rd of May, because I'd literally just bought it, handed it back over to the estate agent.
So you did
West
this as a
again.
flip?
Aye, so I wish I'd knew what I know now, obviously, because we're doing quite a lot of assisted sales, because that's the perfect example in assisted
It would have
sale.
worked, aye.
It'd have been ideal, because I wouldn't have had the hassle way, because at the time I had to really be cautious who we were selling to, because it really had to be a cash buyer, because it was within the 6 months, or so I thought anyway.
Did you fund that with cash then?
I bought it with a mortgage, residential mortgage. I was planning on living in it.
Yeah. Wink.
But ended up didn't want to relocate back down North Lanarkshire.
She had to go back down.
So bought that with that, did the renovation. Renovation was 20 grand, so bought it for 60, spent 20 on it, didn't pay any ADS of course, and sold it for 112 or 115.
Wow. And you did the refurb yourself,
Did
like
most of the refurb myself.
kind of on the tools.
And that was the first time.
What was the refurb cost roughly?
I think the refurb was about 20k, roughly 20k.
So obviously you managed to buy that. Obviously you'd bought and sold that property, which initial property, the first one, you didn't make a huge amount of it, but it gave
Probably
you
wiped its face.
so
to be
probably,
honest.
but it gave you back the original cash
Pot.
pot that you put in, plus a wee bit extra maybe, which is then used to buy that one, which turned out to flip. And now you've got, what have you got in your cash pot now? 60 grand or something? No.
Yeah.
We're sitting at that point at about, I think we're sitting at about 50k.
Aye.
Ready to go again. And it's funny because at the time I wasn't part of any networking groups, didn't really follow a lot of people on social media and stuff. And I remember when it sold, I was obviously glad we've made a bit of money, but I was so gutted as well. I was like, I'm never going to find another property like that. That'll never happen again. And at the time, my partner, she was quite worried about it. She's like, "Oh, I spent all our savings. Like, is this going to work?" and whatever. And then when it hit the bank, she's like, "Fucking hell, you actually know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
So we'd agreed after that, because we'd put on hold buying our own place because I'd dumped all the money into this. And so she was being quite unselfish, like putting what I wanted first.
Yeah.
So she said to me, "Right, there on the next property we buy needs to be our own. Like, that's it." I said, "Right, cool, that's fine." So we had put an offer in our own place. That offer's accepted, and then we're sitting in the airport, on a family holiday, and Emma Hennigan phones me saying, because I got her to sell Airdrie.
Right.
So she phones me and says, Declan, I think I've got one for you in Paisley.
Right.
And at the time we were in legals for our place, so I'm taking that as we've bought our own place, so now I'm free to do what I want. And we're sitting in the airport, and I told her, right, I've just agreed to buy another one in Paisley. She's like, what do you mean?
What about her house?
What about her house? And I was like, well, the house is bought. You know what I mean? And at the time, that's when I was back on the books for another company to be able to get the mortgages. So, at the time, when with everything going on, I had like my own house completing at the same time as Paisley.
Right.
And obviously Paisley for Stirling. So an hour drive, you know what I mean? And I was doing it on myself at the time, which was stupid. So I had that. I was still contracted to work 40 hours a week. And I was doing my mother-in-law's bathroom and my grand's bathroom all at the same time. So it was. I don't actually know how we managed to get it all
What
done.
year was that?
That must have been 2023, I want to say.
So you're what, 22 at this age?
Aye.
And you've got all this stuff going on, man. So had you been with your girlfriend for a long time? I mean, that's quite early to be buying your own house together.
When I moved into my grand's house and I went to school in Stirling, I met her within the first month at school.
Wow,
and
right.
we've been together for 10 years this month.
That's awesome. And she into property or not really?
She did it at the start because I think she thought she would like it, but she's just, I think it's either for you or it isn't. And she likes hearing about it, but she probably couldn't deal with the stress and stuff like that. Yeah. So
did your house go through it that year as well?
So I bought that at the same time.
Is that Stirling?
They need a refurb.
Yeah. No, it was alright. I just had to do a bathroom, which I get put in the back burner until everything else was
See the
sorted.
Paisley deal. What did that turn out to be?
It wasn't great. It really wasn't great actually. It was. So I kind of bought it blind. No, it wasn't her fault to be honest. It's just I'm terrible for with refurbs. I'm struggling to do things on a budget. Like I like what I like, and I like to give people a good product. So when I'm doing a lot of refurbs, I do them to kind of standard that I would want.
Right.
Which. Now, because I'm working with investors, I'm scaling back, I'm getting a bit better, but I've still got a bit to go. So I overspent on, I think we bought it for 77, obviously had the 6% tax on and spent 25 roughly, 30, and sold it for 135. So we didn't lose money, we made money on it, and again, it was another great learning experience. Like I learned I'm never doing a refurb in Paisley again, myself, so it was a good learning curve.
Why is that?
It's just too far to travel. Travel absolutely killed us.
Basically spend 2 hours each day before you even get anything done.
It absolutely killed us.
Right.
And obviously at the time I was still contracted to work with this company. So I was...
But the problem with that is, see if you roll back, and if you outsourced that, you wouldn't have probably made any money.
Probably. But so, again, it was just the experience. I just wanted experience.
Is good, man.
So
people are too, like, this is the great thing about you.
Make it 20 grand.
You're willing to put in the work and obviously learn from it. That's the best thing you can do.
That was probably that was a hard lesson, to be honest, because I thought I was going to make so much more.
Did that go to closing date?
No, I don't think so. We got an offer on the first day, 15 grand above home report.
You just took that?
And we just took it.
And it went through all right the first time?
Went through fine, aye.
And that was
touch wood, I've not had any sales when I've sold on the back end fall through.
Aye. So at this moment in time, you're thinking about, I'm just trying to build my cash pot up here, right? Because you're doing the flips.
Exactly.
So what is it? Things carry on from there.
Aye. So I didn't really, because we had sold the one in Airdrie. Looking back, I should have just refinanced it. It would have been all money out because I want to build assets. I don't really. I don't want to flip properties and have money in the bank.
Yeah.
But then that was
because you could have recycled all your money.
I could have,
and got like an asset that was cash flowing,
and it was a good asset. It wasn't an ex-council house or anything like that. It was like 2 bed, only 20-year-old house. You
decent
know what I mean?
rent, decent cash flow,
good quality asset.
Probably like 400 quid a month coming in.
Exactly. So and if I had the opportunity now, I would keep it every day. I wouldn't flip it, or I would assist it. I would probably assist it sale it actually.
You need the cash pot, because I also had that at the time as well. When I look back at the houses that I flipped after the crash in 2008, 9, 10, I only made a wee bit of profit on them, and now they've all doubled in price. And I'm like, I wish I just kept them. Just like, you were borrowing money on a credit card, putting a deposit, and doing all the work yourself for months and months and months just to make that wee bit of profit. So you weren't in a position to do it, and you never had this.
I probably wasn't in the position to do it then either. It probably would have held me back for where we kind of got to now. Because I did do the 2 flips, and then I've obviously kept grafting. I've just been banging money away. Sitting there with a pot. So I'm just waiting on opportunity. And then that's when I started positioning myself for opportunity. You know, when I was going and pricing stuff, and I was asking, why is it you're doing the work in the house, or are you planning on selling? And that's how. So then after that, I think what would I came after Paisley sold in March time.
2023.
The one with Kyle at
24. So there was one. I bought another flat in between that. So one in Grangemouth. I was there to price a bathroom, and a wee bit cheeky. I said to him, "Why are you doing the bathroom? The rest of the house is a mess." And he says, "Oh, I think if I do the bathroom and I do the kitchen, I can sell." And I said, "Well, how much do you want?" He says, "Oh, if I do that, I'll get 55." And I said, "Well, I'll buy it for 45." And he said, "Right, no bother." So I bought that. That was last April. I bought that.
Did you sell that?
No, I've got that. So I did. That's the first one I've just kept.
First one to add to
because
your
it was
portfolio?
money out, or it might be a few grand left in.
Aye, that's
So
fine. You can make that
no-brainer.
easily in a job,
Aye.
can't you? Do you know
And
what I mean?
I went over the top again, like with the refurb, but I didn't need double glazing. It could have done another couple of years, but I just wanted to do it once and forget about it. So I done all the double glazing.
See
put gas in.
if you tie in with a good letting agent,
I've heard that.
I'll advise you, like, make sure you're not overspending on the refurb.
Aye. I think the thing is, I knew who the tenant was going in because it was a client's
Aye.
daughter. So I was confident that it was going to get looked after and stuff like that. So I wasn't too worried. And I did think if I do it right now.
Once now, and you have to touch it for 20, 25 years.
That was my
That's
thoughts.
also a good
The amount of
point.
people that I see that miss out on a rewire when they're doing a property, like, how long you keep this for? 25 years.
Yeah.
It's probably about 5 or 10 years before needing a rewire. Why not do it now? No, I'll date them. That'll cost me another 3 grand
Although-
now. Aye, but you're going
I
to
don't-
either
it's
knock out
done.
the tenant, rip out rag all walls, and have to redecorate again. Why not do it now? It's getting
Well,
refurbed.
I don't really laugh for you. I don't know if you've seen the latest reality refurb with Alex Walker. If you're listening to this, get on our YouTube channel and check out these reality refurbs. So I did one with Alex Walker, and so he's like, did
Go on for 10 grand.
so did the initial walkthrough, right? He's like, I knew kitchens going in. I'm like, well, where'd you get your kitchens? Howdens, B&Q? I don't know, like, it'll be a wooden kitchen. I'm like, right, okay, wooden kitchen's going in, brilliant. Right, so I comes back for the final result, and he's done the refurb, but I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like, this doesn't look like something that you would get, like, in a kind of Howdens range, you know. I'm like, it looks a wee bit dated. So I pull open a drawer and I notice it's like a wee bit burst and all that. Then I realise it was a second-hand kitchen. I'm like, where did you get this kitchen from? Is this second-hand kitchen? He says, it came from my own house. So he's taking out the kitchen out of his house. By the way, it's actually pretty decent. He'll be listening to this. It's actually quite a decent kitchen. And he's probably saved about 3 or 4 grand, hasn't he?
So see, talking about second-hand kitchen, so on that flat in Grangemouth, I got a second-hand kitchen out of new build, and we were one post short,
Right.
and we couldn't get it.
Couldn't get matched.
So I had to chuck the full kitchen out after log it. Well, I
raging,
didn't
man.
log it up. I got
I've
the
done
guys
that
to log it
shit
up
before,
3 flights of stairs.
Raging.
Had to get out in the skip and go and buy a Howdens one anyway.
I've got a good contact at Ren, and like every time there's a showroom, like, oh, we're getting rid of that one in the showroom, that one in the showroom, it's like, here's 400 quid. I now say no. Because I take it, I'm like,
It's always
aye,
something, this.
Can't
minted,
get
20
anything
grand
for it.
kitchen, can't get nothing for it. You try and make it work to a certain space, and you're like, fuck it, sit in the garage, like, just launch it. So now I'm just like, nah, sorry.
You end up just paying to store it.
Aye. Or keep it in
So
my
it end up
garage.
costing you money.
Aye. Takes up room in my garage. I end up chipping there, I bash it to bits. You take it to the boys come and take it to a property over and escape it again. You're like, it's fucking
finished.
fucked.
Do you know what I love about this story so far though? Is he's got a good trading business going on as
Yeah.
well.
Aye.
So you're generating leads through whatever it is, rated people, check to trade. Your business is home improvements is doing well as well. Are you?
I kind of took my eye off the pulse. So after once I got to Grangemouth, I bought that, and at that time I employed my brother-in-law as an apprentice and Stuart, who's a long-term friend, as a joiner
Right.
onto the business. And I was probably quite scared starting the business, like first time having staff, and I was like, right, I'll just keep my flat there if we're ever quiet. Fast forward for April to December, the flat's still no done, and I'm still sitting with it. And we got to December, I was like, right, we need to get this done. I know we're not going to run out of
I've
work.
seen that happen quite. That's quite common, isn't
Aye.
it?
It was just fear. I was just
Aye.
fearful that I didn't want to let the guys down, say there's no work. You know what I mean? And the business done really well in the first 6 months, where we were just absolutely rammed. And so sent them back there to do that over the Christmas period, got that done, and then at December time, Kyle had Dalbeatty.
Yeah.
Hey, minute, this is Kyle Black. Anybody listening, you can go back, I don't know, 15, 20
Yeah,
episodes.
for sure.
Kyle Black did an interview with us. But this is Kyle Black, right?
Aye, so Kyle put up my socials saying, had an investor pull out last minute, need 60 grand, something like that. And I messaged him, I said, right, I'll transfer you 60 grand now. But I've never spoke to Kyle before this.
Right.
I says, but I want the refurb. I says, but I'll do the refurb, and you can pay me for the refurb when it sells. I said, so you can leverage that as well. And it was just as an in,
Right.
to be honest. And
Aye.
just to,
Did you know of Kyle?
I know his social proof, and the funny thing was, when after Paisley sold, and I was back at Emily saying, Emily, find me something else. At this time, she was going to Dubai, and she says to me, oh, speak to Kyle, and sent me Kyle's number, but I never followed it up.
Right.
She'd already sent me Kyle's number, but I'd never spoke to him. And then obviously I'd been following him on social media and stuff like that. I kind of knew the area as well, and it was a cracking project. So I says, I'll give you the money. I hadn't even met him. I said, just send me over a contract. It's like, I'll transfer you the funds. So I transferred them the funds. I said, I want the refurb. And I did the refurb for him. We went and done that together.
Was this a loan agreement then?
Just a loan agreement.
And what sort of percentage were you getting?
I think it was 10%.
10%,
The standard.
60
I didn't care about. I didn't care about the money. I just wanted to get the chance to
get
go
more
and
experience.
work with him.
Aye.
Yep.
That's great, man. You saw that opportunity there.
And it was just by chance. Like the funds were sitting there. It was kind of the leftover funds of what I had from doing the stuff I'd been doing anyway. And I'd bought Grangemouth cash for 45, and in that time I'd built money up through the trading business. So I just put that in, transferred them my money. I was like, right, and I'll leverage what I've got with accounts and everything, and I'll do the refurb for you.
What was the strategy behind this property again, sorry?
So that was just a flip. He bought that as a repossession. So he bought it.
Whereabouts is this?
Chapel Hall, Dalbeatty Braes. It's a big
Chapel Hall, so far from what? That's North Lanarkshire?
North Lanarkshire,
Aye. That's brilliant, but obviously, like we laughed in the last episode with Chris DL saying about do your due diligence and all that if you're doing private investor finance. But you just got a feeling, didn't you, from Kyle that he was a genuine guy? You do
if
get
people put their face to things on social media, not all the time, but if they're willing to do it and they've been doing it for a prolonged period of time, they can be trusted.
And they're there. They're not going anywhere, are they?
Exactly. And the fact that Emily had already said to me about Kyle previously, this is about a year previous that conversation. It kind of supported the, you know.
I think if you look back, for anybody listening to this, again, you've got to do your own research and don't take our advice. But if you've seen people turn up consistently again and again and again,
For a couple of years, then they're not going anywhere.
for a few, 3-4 years, I think it's a pretty good indication. It's not an absolute certainty.
They know what they're doing.
It's not just the person either, it's the property. And see, once you showed me the property, I was like, you can't lose money on this.
It was a good
But
deal,
you didn't have any security over the property,
I
right?
didn't have any security. I was secured.
And you obviously went in there, you'd committed all your time as well. So there is an element of risk, but you just went with it.
There was an element of risk, but I knew for the first meeting with Kyle when I met him face to face, I was like, the guy's genuine.
Yeah.
Which I've been quite lucky with all the people I've met in property and stuff like that. I've met really good people.
So how did that one turn out then? It sold
went well.
quite
We sold that. I think we started it in November, December time, something like that. And they sold it in March.
When did we come through and see it? Was like February. It was fucking done. It was.
Can you remember what the figures were on the sale?
I can't even remember how much he bought it for. Stuff
but
like that. It didn't really hamper me.
Well, you got your money back and your interest. Was that the deal?
Exactly.
And you got paid for the refurb.
The refurb, aye.
Right, again, good opportunity to just get in there and learn. And
it was a good chance to showcase what we can do as well, because obviously he had the networking group and stuff like that coming past, so people were coming in and they can see the quality of the work that we're doing.
Got some content out of it.
Exactly.
Did you get it staged and all the rest of it?
Aye. So it was mint. It was a really good refurb. And the thing I like about working with Kyle is he's not like typical property investors where he's trying to penny pinch everywhere. Like me and him have got quite similar tastes, so we would rather
do it right.
We'd rather spend a wee bit and get it done right the first time.
Yeah, quality.
So that suits me. So then that snowballed into, we were in the middle of that project and we were back and forth about I had a couple of things coming up, he had a couple of things coming up, and then he got an assisted sale agreed in Baillieston, and he asked me, do you want to JV that? And I said, aye, no worries. So again, he brought the deal, we both went 50-50 on the funds, and then I got a really good deal in Hart Hill, which was
so with that assisted sale, that first one, when you say 50-50 on the funds, are you talking about just for the refurb?
Aye, so just the refurb, so the refurb was
so
only...
obviously with the whole beauty about assisted sales, you don't need any funds.
Aye, so the refurb was, I think the refurb ran into about 25 or 30k, something like that. I've got it on a spreadsheet somewhere, and we just... me and Kel are quite loose, so I won't go to him and say, if you spent 14 grand or you spent 15 grand, so I match it. So like I've probably spent 18 grand and he spent 12, but I'm quite happy with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about getting the volume and getting... I'm trying to build a portfolio of case studies of the assisted sales now, because I've got 5 or 6 in the pipeline that are signed, but you need these ones to be able to
show that.
See, the more I hear about assisted sales, and obviously it gets a bad rep from like old school solicitors who are like, no, we don't do that. But I can see how it can really work to the seller's advantage as well.
Help everyone. Yeah.
And I just don't know why. You know, somebody can't come out, whether it's the Law Society or whatever, and just say, right, this could be a recognised thing here.
I think it will become. It'll get more mainstream, I think.
Yeah,
because there's a lot more people doing it.
I feel it is starting to gather momentum. It's just about trying to make people understand, isn't it? The sellers understand.
It's actually us that are most at risk.
Yeah.
But I've kind of come up with a way of mitigating that as well now. So see, most of the time it's mostly inherited properties that we get for the assisted sales. So the one in Hart Hill that me and Kyle have just completed, that was women got in contact again through the refurbs saying, I want a price for my dad's house. Basically the dad had passed away in December, attic tank burst, nobody knew because nobody was visiting over Christmas to an empty house, and the house was destroyed. Went in and she says, "Oh, I've had a few property people in and they've offered me 39.99." I sort of ideas, and I was like, "Well,
I was one of them.
I can offer you 60." I was like, but at the time I thought it was actually worse than what it was. We were working it out on an end value about 180, 175, because the next door neighbours was up for a fixed price of 165 and wasn't selling.
This the wee bungalow.
Aye. So we end up doing absolutely everything, end up needing a new roof, and I think we spent 75 on it.
Wow,
So
that's quite a big outlay. Now that's where it starts getting quite risky.
aye, so that's where I was getting a bit like, right, we've spent a lot of money on this, we're getting no security on this. So anyway, we've just sold that, we're ready to complete next month.
Good.
So it's done really well. But going forward, what I've started to do is if it's unencumbered, which 9 times out of 10 it is we just put a charge on it.
Right.
And most people that are genuine don't have an issue with it because they're not going to rob your money anyway. So if you say to people, listen, I'm coming here to do an 80 grand refurb, because what I've got one now, it's a 90 grand refurb, but I've put a charge on it at 120 to protect the investor funds, because that's investor funded as well. So it's not just the refurb that you're at the risk of losing. And people that are genuine, they're absolutely fine with it. They're like, aye, that's
So would you just price the refurb and say give them a figure for the charge? How would you?
So what we do is so for instance, the one we're looking at now, we've agreed a fixed price of that, or about 130,000 and 50% split. So we do 50% split with the homeowner. We ain't over home report all the time. Just
that's another good incentive then, because
it gives them a wee bit of skin in the game. It gives them a bit of skin in the game as well.
Benefit the market as well.
Aye, and our profit's made on the agreed price, not on the sale price, you know what I mean? Like, we're basing all our figures on what can we get it for the now, and agree that. Like, we're not going to run risk of using other people's money and losing it. So it's all on the agreed price. If it goes over asking price, I base everything off what we're going to get at a home report, not what it goes over home report. So anything over home report for us is a bonus anyway. So it's fair to share
it. Everybody can benefit.
Exactly. So
and how's that going down with the solicitors then? Try to get that charge through on?
Fine, because they're like...
What's the numbers in the one you're doing now? You're just saying there.
So it's agreed at 130. I think we'll spend... I think we could spend 90, but I think we'd probably do it for 70 if we were... 90 is like doing it really high spec, and if we can squeeze an extra
budget as well, man.
Yeah. It's quite a big house.
Is that a new roof and all this?
The new roof's just been done, but the 2 dormers need addressed, all the lead work and stuff like that.
Whereabouts is that?
It's no far from Paisley. Just outside Paisley.
Nice. What do you think the sale price on that one would be?
A 285 plus.
Aye.
But it's hard to get a comp.
Yeah,
really hard. So I've had surveyors.
60 grand profit plus.
Did you ever hear the story about David Smart? How he's tied into one and he can't get his money out. He put all the money into a refurb assisted sale. I can't remember the story. He did it on his Instagram lives, but basically I think it's been a couple of years now, and his money's all tied up. Nothing's happening with it.
So that one is the podcast.
Can he get it out? No, I don't think so. I've just heard it on his own social media.
So another thing I've put in the contract is an option to buy.
Right.
So I've put an option to buy at 130 in as well.
Okay.
So they can't, if I've got an option to buy within say 12 months, I've got an option to buy that, so I can trigger that. So if they think me about and they say, oh, we're not selling it, whatever, I can just trigger that and buy it.
Is this advice from your solicitor?
I just spoke to my solicitor about how can we make this more bulletproof.
Yeah.
And just adding all these wee extra clauses in it. It's just going to deter people from trying to get around it, you know what I mean? But to be honest, with assisted sales, it's all trust.
Do you get a good? Are you quite good at like gauging people, like getting a good gut feeling?
I'm a people person, so like
about it, getting a chat going.
Aye. And
like, what's the situation? What's the background? You know, who's involved? That's the other problem. Is see if it's a inherited property, and then you have multiple family members involved. That's where you can hear about it going wrong as well.
So that's all of the ones we've got now are all like that. But
you need to make sure
we've had them on calls, went out for meetings and like discussed what's everything, and they're happy because they don't have the funds, they don't have 90,000 all the time, all the resources to.
As long as everybody's on board, because it could just take one brother or sister, somebody who lives in Canada who's like, wait a minute here.
That's where it's important to. We'll download the title sheet and get. A lot of the time, the title sheet hasn't been changed yet because then the person's maybe passed away.
Yeah.
So we asked to get that chased up so that they get that changed, and then we can get the.
And it's not that you're like, it's not that you're doing anything dodgy, but it's just that people just jump to conclusions, don't they? Just because wait a minute, people just don't know how the strategy works. So like, why is it not going on the open market to get the best possible sale price? Or it could be on the market as well. Yeah. Was this one on the market at all?
Bailison was on the market. This isn't. Most of them are off market because a lot of the time it's people contacting looking to get the refurb done.
Right.
But this one's getting done with the boys. So I've joined up with the boys at Scope Properties. So there's 4 of us in there. So we're just deciding to put all our kind of projects all in the melting pot together and buy together. Which
how do you know These guys, Scope Properties, are these guys on social as well?
They will be on socials, aye.
Instagram?
So it's Ryan, Joe, and Reese, and met the boys back. Met Reese, who I mainly wanted to work with back, and at the same time I kind of started Dalbeattie with Kyle in December, and Reese does quite a lot of bigger purchases, and so I want
What's
to
the
learn.
benefit of working with them as well? Why is it adding more people to the?
It's funny because my granda said the same thing, but it's just I didn't get on well working with other people, but working with them, it's like total less stress for me because we're spreading the weight load.
Are they on the tools as well, doing
No,
stuff?
they're not on the tools. Mostly, Joe is a heating engineer to trade as well, and Ryan's an electrician to trade, but everybody's off the tools, so all of us are off the tools. We're just working for the office.
Are you now, aye?
So
That's brilliant.
it's great. It's good because everybody plays their strengths. You know what I mean? I'm not getting asked to do admin because I'm hopeless at sending emails. So there's no point in asking me to stay on top of chasing things and stuff like that because it won't get done. So
Have you got an office now as well?
I've got an office in Falkirk we work out of, but we're going to get an art. It's just a wee office. But it's just a hub
with those guys as well. Nice.
So it's just a hub to work out of. So we're just putting all our opportunities in the pot together and signing off on it and going right.
And is Kyle involved in that group
No,
as well?
that's separate.
He's
So,
separate.
my JVs with Kyle are totally separate.
Are you still continue to do stuff with
I
Kyle?
will. Definitely. I think we're still speaking about some stuff in the pipeline stuff now. Like, I think we'll work together on quite a few things because what Kyle doesn't like is the refurbs, which I take care of. What I don't like is the paperwork, and he takes care of that. So we got on well that way.
That's brilliant, man. So what's the? I mean, you obviously you feel like the assisted sales strategy is the one for you at the moment, and then but you obviously
pot building.
I feel it's easy for me to. It's easy for me to sell because I've already got the refurb business, which has got reviews and everything. So when you're telling people I'm going to come in and refurb your property and you're not going to need to spend a penny, and they go, "You're coming to spend £90,000 on my house," and they're like, "Have you got any reviews for this?" Well, the refurbishment company does.
Yeah.
So that backs it up.
Got that credibility,
exactly.
track record.
My face is against it and everything already. So it definitely helps, and that's how I've kind of closed most of my assisted sales, to be honest, is leaning on my refurb stuff.
So obviously, like you say, it's about putting that extra effort in just to make sure it is tight, and you're not going to.
The one in Hart Hill hasn't got any of them in that me and Kyle have just went like standard agreement. But the woman's trustworthy, and I knew for a start like she was sincere, and she wanted. It didn't make sense to buy it. She wanted to see how the property could look if her dad was still alive, what he would like and stuff like that. So she's managed to see the house come back to life. You know, rather than just selling it.
That must be great as well. It's like that DIY SOS,
That's
isn't
brilliant.
it?
She brought her mum and all that back round and like showed her the house, and it was all staged and everything. You know what I mean? And it was really.
You're also
really
bringing up the whole street as well.
Well, I posted on, so I always post when we're doing assisted sales on the local groups and ask if anybody's looking to buy a house in the local area, get in contact. I'll let you pick your full interior design, and you can design the property. I'll refurb it, but we agree a price now, and it won't go to the open market.
Right.
I'm quite happy to do that. And I had loads of people for the street commenting on it. Oh, I've seen the guys in; they've done an amazing job because it only took us 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was literally back to brick. Like we couldn't have done it any quicker.
Fantastic, mate. Give us a shout for the reality refurbs. We're looking for more content.
He's got me on the hook for one.
I've got a couple now that we've got 4 assisted sales and 2 flips that are all in legals.
You've got
assisted sales are signed.
So things are moving for you.
Yeah. It's not just me. That's how I mentioned the boys at Scope of. So a lot of that's deals that they've brought in as well.
That's good. It's good collaborating together. I think people in Scotland, especially, it's good to see young guys doing it together because everyone thinks it's fucking competition. There's no competition. Everyone should collaborate together. There's plenty of opportunities there, and plenty of people have got a different skill set and property they can bring to the table and all work together. But I think Scottish mentality is like, oh no, that's mine. I'm keeping that to myself.
And what I like about the guys, so how me and Reese were I didn't meet Joe and Ryan first, I met Reese first, and we were going to buy a HMO together in Dundee as a JV. I just did a deal, didn't have any money at the time because my money was spent on Dalbeattie. So I was like, right, I'll JV it, and then we got through it. He kind of explained to me why it wasn't that great a deal, and because I hadn't bought any HMOs, and we kind of went through the thing when I was like, right, cool, but then we just kept in contact, and he had a big purchase coming up, which we're in legals for the now, it's a great deal. But at the time the figures weren't the same as what they were. We managed to get them down, and he said to me, because he was kind of tapped at the time for private investment as well, he says if you can raise 250k you can come in on it 50-50. And I'd never raised private finance before,
right?
And this was on the Monday, and I says, when have I got till? He says, Wednesday night. I says, right. And on Wednesday I had 275k, and he says, like, okay. So I didn't think you'd be able to do that.
Where'd that come from?
Reaching out to old clients, people have done work. If they trust you with their house, they've already trusted to pay you. Reaching back out to them.
See, to be able to do that at 24 years old,
That's the hardest bit. 'Cause my age holds me back in some aspects. Not so much now, but maybe like 2 years ago, it was difficult to get things passed through with people because they're looking at you and you look like a lot younger and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And was that a couple of different investors you managed to get from?
I had people lined up through the refurb company that were past clients, but then I met a girl at one of the Scottish property networking events in Edinburgh. She actually stays in the same village as me, and I said to her, would you want to come on? She wouldn't do fixed returns, and I said, right, well, and I went back to Reese and says, I've got somebody here with unencumbered that would cover over 50% of this. Are you happy with me giving 10% of my stake away? I'll give her it, but I still retain 40%. And he says, I don't care how you do it.
Right.
You've raised the money, you've raised
Power
the money.
of networking events. So get yourself along to Scottish Property Podcast networking events. Stuff's happening there.
It is. So that I'd only met her once or twice, went out for a coffee, but the deal was that good. Like if you've got a good deal, you don't struggle to get money for it.
And is that something that's just kind of going through at the moment?
It is. So this was back in, we were negotiating this in January, and it was negotiated at 725 for 950, and we're down at
where's that one?
575. It's on the borders between Scotland and England.
Right.
So it was negotiated down to, I think it's at 575. No, sorry, 550. We're agreeing to buy it for its valued at 950. With a vendor finance agreement at 125 over 3 years. But it
That's quite technical, isn't it? So there's a few.
So I've went for buying a buy to lets to then this, and I'm like, but I'm just learning all the time, so it's great, and that's the power of collaborating with people. Would I have learned that myself? I probably would have. How long would it have taken?
Just needs to. The problem with that is there's once you start getting to that level, there's quite a few different people involved in that now, isn't it? So it starts getting quite complicated.
It is.
So it's just about protecting yourself again, managing the risk, making sure that you come out
with that. We weren't in that, so that's just a JV between me and between Vitality and Scope for that. So that was the agreement. We had no intentions of working with each other full time, but then we were just spending a lot of time together working on our deals. I was bringing stuff to him, he was bringing stuff to me, and we were like, right, do you want to collaborate here and go and do this? And
is that completed yet? No,
so it's we're 99.9% now.
Funds there.
Funds are all there. We're title splitting it to raise the value and stuff like that as well. So it's a title split that's taking a wee bit of time.
And it's going to be what's the strategy again?
It's an SA contractors market. So it's an 8-bed, 5-bed, 5-bed. The 8-bed's already got a booking for 18 months for 147,000, I think.
Right.
And so the long and short is it's gross 24k a month, net 12.
So you're trying to build up the assets again, get the cash flow coming in, and do you just want to keep doing that for the long term as well? Who do you see yourself? Do you still believe in buy to let? Do you still want to get more
I'm still in the middle of buying a personal purchase now in Grangemouth. Again, another one in Grangemouth now. It's a 3-bed cottage flat that I'm probably going to run it as SA. I'm going to go and get the license and stuff, and do that as SA just to try it. Mm-hmm. And then if it doesn't work out, it still works as buy to let anyway. I'll just go to buy to let. Yeah. So I'm not against anything, to be honest.
Nice, mate.
Anything else take your fancy that you would like to try your hand at, like in property?
We've got the pipeline's full at the minute. We've got pub conversions, nightclub conversions and stuff that we're all in with architects and things like that now. They're not close to being done deals, but they're agreed with a lot of them are JVs with the people that own them.
Right.
So
how's your people are listening to this going, how's he getting all these opportunities? Because
they're not all my opportunities. That's the power of working with the 3 other guys. You know what I mean? They're bringing, if anything, they're probably bringing more of that stuff in than me, whereas I'll bring more of the assisted sale stuff in. And when they get an assisted sale, I can close it. Mm-hmm. So the one out just outside the Paisley, that wasn't me that brought that in. That was Joe, but he was like, Declan, I know you can close it. So we went out, closed it. So that's the power of just leaning on these.
Give us a wee insight into some of the conversations that happen in people's living rooms then when you're going out and you're trying to close things, as you're saying. How do you get people on board that are not, people that are don't know anything about property, aren't it?
The assisted sales, with the assisted sales, it's too good to be true. It sounds like for the homeowner, because you're going to refurb their property. They're sitting with an asset in their head that they can't shift, or that's been on the market and they can't shift, and you're giving them a solution that's not going to cost them anything.
Yeah. So they're automatically
trying to bring them back down.
Their defence is up saying, this sounds
too good.
It's a scam.
Aye.
Or then they speak to other people and say, oh no, I don't think you should, because that just sounds dodgy.
Aye.
So then you're trying to convince them. So just for tips for people, Is there any strategies to try and talk people in?
I would say go and JV with people first. Like, I obviously went and JV'd with Kyle on the first two. So both of us have now got social proof that we've done it.
Mm-hmm.
I could have lent on his kind of social background if people were asking for testimonials and stuff, whereas I couldn't have lent on my own. So working with other people that's maybe more experienced just to get your foot in the door. Are you going to make less money? Aye, but what are you going to gain in that time? Because there's loads of conversations that I've managed to have with Kyle over the last 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, that information I wouldn't have been able to obtain, or I would have, but I wouldn't have just had the direct source to ask him, and I can pick up the phone to him now and be like, I'm thinking about this, what do you think? And the same with the guys at Scope as well.
Do you know what would be great marketing material for the assisted sales? Like, see if you could actually get somebody to agree to go on camera and do like a case study.
We've got them booked in.
Have you? Aye.
We've got 2 clients booked in.
Brilliant. Just get them on YouTube, get them use, say, look, just go and see these. If somebody's to and fro with it,
definitely,
and
that's how I raised. So we're raising a wee bit of finance for obviously the flips and stuff that are in the pipeline now, and I just took the investors out to the Hart Hill project, and I was like, this is a quality of finish that we do things up to. Like, this is where your money's secured in, you know what I mean? This is the sort of finish and what we do. Show them the pictures and everything, what it was, and they're like, can't believe it.
Yeah.
So you're building trust here and taking people out onto site and showing them we're actually doing like active projects. We're not just saying we're doing something, or we've got this, we've got that. This is what we're actually doing. Builds a lot of trust.
Cool, mate. I think it's brilliant.
Nice one, mate.
I mean, I know I keep going back to your age as well, but I just put myself in that situation at that age, and just it's just phenomenal what you've done so far. I know you're saying that you'd like probably just feel like I've just started.
I feel like I'm just starting now. I feel as if it's took ages to get to, because I kind of started looking at 20 and I feel like I'm 24 now, like not really done much, but I'm starting to pick up. It is starting to pick up now. Like I feel as if it's.
That's what I want to get you on, mate. Is I feel like getting you on early on and showcasing how real it was, just getting momentum for 4 years, and now at least when we're coming for part 2, there'll be. I'm pretty sure there's going to be huge momentum from that. You can fly back and go, here's what the last couple of
years no stopping like. You, man. You've got the attitude, and you've got the right. You've got the knowledge, you've got the skills, nothing holding you back.
It's just a case of working with the right people. That's probably the best bit of advice I'd give anyone. They work with the right people.
Well, you're obviously not shy to go out and network as well, right?
No, I enjoy networking. I'm a social person, so I enjoy the networking and stuff. I was at a networking event first thing this morning. I enjoy it.
Opportunity comes through that.
Exactly.
You need to do more social media.
I know.
Not seen enough of that on your Instagram, but it's obviously not holding you back.
I keep getting told what.
We'll get you on anyway and get you a bit of exposure through the podcast and that. So really appreciate it. Where can people reach out to you? What sort of opportunities are you looking? More people to work with?
We've got, so since I have started posting about assisted sales on social media, a lot of people have reached out to me to JV. So I have got quite a few JVs, assisted sales in the pipeline, where they're like, Declan, I've got a project that would work for an assisted sale. Typically, if somebody brings me a project, I'll fund it. So if people are finding opportunities but they don't have the capital, bring us the opportunity and we'll fund it and we'll JV it. That's probably the best selling point for people, because if somebody told me that at the start, I would have been actively looking at the start. When you're looking for deals, you're like, there's no point in looking because I can't fund any of them.
Yeah.
So Instagram, Declan Macaloney property. That's probably the only place I really post now. But I need to get better. Nice one, mate.
Nice, mate. Thanks for taking
the time,
mate.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, boys.